Let me ask you something that might shake you a little. Why are you here? No, not just in this room, not just on this Zoom call or watching this video or sitting at this moment. I mean, why are you really here? What is the purpose of your life? Because if you can't answer that, everything else becomes noise. Everything else becomes motion without direction, energy without clarity, effort without fulfillment. You see, too many people wake up every day and go through the motions. They wake up tired, frustrated, anxious, not because they're weak, not because they're lazy, but because they're lost. They don't have a purpose. They don't have a why. And without a why, life becomes a grind. Without a why, success becomes empty. Without a why, the smallest obstacle feels like a mountain, but with a purpose, with a mission, you become unstoppable. The Buddha once said, to enjoy good health, to bring true happiness to one's family, to bring peace to all, one must first discipline and control one's own mind. If a man can control his mind, he can find the way to enlightenment, and all wisdom and virtue will naturally come to him. Let that sink in. Everything starts with the mind. Everything starts with your inner world. You want peace in your life? Control your mind. You want success? Control your mind. You want joy, love, strength, discipline, resilience? It all starts within. And here's the truth. Most people spend more time managing their Instagram feed than their thoughts, more time organizing their closets than their mindset, more time feeding their egos than feeding their souls. No wonder we feel empty. No wonder we're so reactive, so sensitive, so lost. But here's the shift. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a creator of your life. And the first thing you must create is purpose. What is purpose? Purpose is the reason you get out of bed in the morning when no one's watching. Purpose is the voice inside that says, I was made for more than this. Purpose is not about chasing someone else's dream. It's about discovering your own fire and guarding it with your life. You see, when you have purpose, you don't need motivation. When you have purpose, you don't need permission. When you have purpose, you don't fear failure, because failure becomes fuel. Pain becomes power. Struggle becomes sacred. But without purpose, you're chasing shadows. You're building castles in sand. You're living your life in reaction mode, constantly pulled by fear, doubt, stress, and comparison. And here's something we don't talk about enough. Most of your stress comes from ignoring your purpose. Most of your anxiety comes from living a life that doesn't align with your values. Most of your frustration comes from trying to please people who don't even understand your mission. But the moment you say, this is who I am, this is what I'm here for, this is the legacy I'm going to build, everything changes. You don't chase peace anymore, you become peace. You don't wait for happiness, you create it. You don't try to impress the world, you serve it. Because purpose isn't about having it all figured out. Purpose isn't about being perfect. Purpose is about choosing to live with intention every single day. Purpose is what turns pain into progress. It's what gives your suffering meaning. It's what turns your setbacks into setups. Now, some of you might say, but I don't know what my purpose is. And that's okay, because purpose isn't found in one big moment. Purpose is built in the small, quiet choices you make every day. It's built when you choose discipline over distraction. It's built when you choose growth over comfort. It's built when you stop asking, what do I want? And start asking, who can I become? You don't need to have all the answers today. You just need to ask better questions. Ask yourself, what lights me up? What breaks my heart? What makes me feel fully alive? Where can I serve? Who can I help? What message do I want my life to speak? Because when your life has meaning, even the worst days have value. And when you find that mission, when you start living it, something incredible happens. Joy becomes your default setting. I'm not talking about fake, cheesy, Instagram-filtered happiness. I'm talking about real joy, the kind that doesn't depend on the weather, the traffic, your bank account, or other people's opinions. Joy comes from alignment, from clarity, from living the life you were born to live, not the life someone else expected of you. And here's the wild part. You don't have to wait. You don't need more money to live with purpose. You don't need a fancy degree or 1 million followers. You just need to choose to say, enough is enough. I'm done drifting. I'm done reacting. I'm done living like I don't matter. because you do matter. Your life matters. Your voice matters. Your energy matters. And when you learn to control your mind, like the Buddha said, when you stop letting fear dictate your choices, when you stop letting comparison steal your identity, when you take back your focus and your fire, that's when wisdom flows. That's when you stop surviving and start thriving. That's when you stop existing and start living. So today I want to leave you with this. You don't need a map to move forward. You just need a compass. Let purpose be your compass. Let peace be your direction. And let joy be your fuel. Because when you live with purpose, you don't just change your life. You change the lives of everyone around you. And that's what this world needs. More people with fire, with clarity, with love, with unshakable peace and unbreakable hearts. So go out there, control your mind, choose your purpose, and let the world feel your light. Viktor Frankl said it best, when you have a reason to live, you can survive almost anything. Let me ask you something most people avoid asking themselves. Do you know why you're alive? Not why you were born, not what your parents told you. I mean, do you know your personal reason for waking up every day? Your why? Because let me tell you something, life without purpose is just slow death. We're living in the most advanced, most comfortable, most convenient era in human history. And yet more people are lost, bored, anxious, and empty than ever before. Why? Because comfort without meaning becomes poison. Freedom without direction turns into despair. And time without purpose is the fastest way to fall into the void. Viktor Frankl knew this. He was a psychiatrist, a survivor of the Nazi concentration camps, and the author of Man's Search for Meaning, one of the most powerful books ever written. He saw something that most of us ignore, that even in the darkest, cruelest, most hopeless environments, those who had a reason to live were the ones who survived. He wrote, "Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how." And that's not just a quote. That's a blueprint for resilience. You don't need an easy life. You don't need a lucky life. You just need a life with meaning. Because when you have meaning, you can go through hell and still rise. But here's the trap. Today, we've traded meaning for distraction. We're drowning in entertainment, scrolling endlessly, watching Netflix, killing time. And isn't that a strange phrase, killing time? Because when you kill time, you're killing your life, 1 minute at a time. You see, most people are not living, they're just waiting to die. They fill their days with noise to avoid facing the silence. They copy others, hoping imitation will give them identity. But living like that, without meaning, without passion, without clarity, is the definition of an existential vacuum. Frankl warned us about this. He said if we give up on meaning, or convince ourselves that meaning doesn't exist, we will fall into that empty void, a vacuum, a hollow life, a numb existence, and that's exactly what we see today. People stuck in dead-end routines waiting for Friday, living for the weekend, numbing themselves at night with shows, drinks, gossip, or mindless scrolling, just existing. But that's not living, that's dying with your eyes open. And we wonder why depression is rising, why anxiety is everywhere, why we feel hollow even when everything looks fine on the outside. It's because we're not connected to anything bigger than ourselves. But there's good news, and because meaning is not something that only philosophers or monks can find. Meaning isn't only found in books or in dramatic life events. Meaning is something you create today with the choices you make. You can choose to stop living on autopilot. You can choose to stop imitating others. You can choose to wake up and ask, what truly matters to me? You see, purpose doesn't come from comfort. It comes from challenge, from contribution, from knowing that your life stands for something greater than yourself. And when you find that, your energy changes. Suddenly you don't need motivation. You don't need weekends. You don't need permission, because your days are not just tasks, they're testaments. Your work becomes sacred, your time becomes precious, and your joy becomes real. Frankl talked about people who worked on their passion, who didn't take vacations for years, not because they were forced to, but because they didn't feel the need. They were so in love with what they were doing, they didn't feel bored, because purpose makes even struggle feel sacred. That's the secret. Purpose doesn't make life easier. It makes it worth it. And when you find your why, even the hardest days give you strength. So if you feel stuck right now, if you feel lost or numb or like you're floating through life, this is not a sign that you're broken. It's a signal. It's your soul screaming, stop pretending, stop copying, stop wasting time, start living. You don't have to find your life's meaning overnight, but you do need to start searching. Because that search, that journey itself, is what will change you. Let me leave you with this. You were not born to drift. You were not born to repeat someone else's life. You were not born to fill your schedule with meaningless noise. You were born to create meaning, to light a fire in the dark, to live a life so full of purpose that even pain becomes part of your power. So find your why. Hold on to it like your life depends on it, because it does. And when you do, you'll stop watching the clock. You'll stop killing time, and you'll start building a life worth dying for.